Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earth911's Sustainability in Your Ear. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe. We're back with another innovator interview. You know, subscription businesses have an interesting feature. They take back what they sell to customers when the subscription ends. That is the recipe for a circular economy. And our guest today, Gordon Olson, is the founder and CEO of Fairfield, Montana-based Torii Industries, a company committed to making green water heating available to all. And they're launching what's known as a hot water as a service business. And they provide customers with a newly patented water heater design that eliminates the oxidation issues caused by traditional metal heating elements. And it's available through a monthly subscription. The Torii water heater uses a carbon foam element to rapidly heat water to a uniform temperature, and that's more efficient than traditional water heating. And the Torii heater connects to a Wi-Fi network to help you track energy use and identify issues before they interrupt service. The Torii water heating system combines many of the features of the circular services we've talked about on the show before, so let's learn more. And you can check it out at www.toriiway.com. So that's TORIIWAY.com. Check it out, listen, and read along while we're on the show. Gordon, welcome. How are you today?
Great, Mitch. Appreciate it. And thank you for having me on.
Well, hey, look, the water heater was really interesting when I first learned about it. I do think that these subscription services is one of the important business models we need to think about as we move into a more sustainable society. How did you identify the opportunity to create a subscription-based approach to hot water delivery in the home? Where'd that come from?
Well, that's a great question. And it wasn't something that just, it didn't just come to me right away. So in the beginning, I started out on wanting to create a more energy efficient water heater. And first it started out as, hey, let's identify the technologies to make them better. We have 80-year-old technology for water heaters, and I decided it was time to revamp it, see what other opportunities are out there. And, once really digging down into the industry and identifying not just that one problem and what might be able to make it better, but really kind of seeing all the problems across the industry, right? And then we have this cultural change, as well as the everything going green, and wanting to help support the environment, as well as keep our planet clean, recycle, so forth, and
live in a modern way too. I mean, I think that's one of the things that's important about this is you're thinking about water delivery in the present rather than the way we did it 100 years ago. That's the beginning of a change to a sustainable life.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And so when I kind of got looking into it, it was, we decided, hey, we got to come at this approach at on the business side of things, and really just redesign the whole business plan and the business structure. And not take the traditional approach with it. If we're going to be bringing out a new technology, we need to bring out, like you said, a modern way of life for this. And so that's where, adding in a subscription-based water heater and making it as hot water as a service really came in. It allowed us to add into the circular economy. It allowed us to be green, recycle, and have all the many benefits that the other company that just sells the water heater outright is not able to do.
So how did your team identify, or did you develop the carbon foam technology that is at the heart of the heater?
Yeah, so that's actually an already patented technology. And so we found it and identified it and said, hey, this works great for exactly kind of the roadmap that we're already going down for the technology. And so we licensed it, have a exclusive commercial licensing for that. And, to make great technologies, there's already a lot of technology out there in the world. And, sometimes it just takes putting all the pieces together to make a full product.
Yeah, most innovation is not actually an act of complete invention, but putting stuff together, as you say. I think Steve Jobs proved that one over and over. Now,
Yep.
in order for the recycling or the hot water as a service to be efficient, the heater needs to be more reliable. And so the question is, how much more reliable is this kind of a water heater?
Yeah, so traditional water heaters have a copper coil in there, and that heats your water. And the problem with that is seeing how it's a metal, it's prone to oxidization. So, over time that's going to corrode, and that's really once that starts corroding, your energy efficiency actually rapidly decreases, because then you're having to use more energy to heat the water. So we're coming in with this carbon foam, and because it's a carbon, we're not prone to oxidization. So it lasts longer, as well as you don't have it decreasing in energy efficiency over time.
So what's included in the Torii service if I sign up?
Yeah, so we with that, we add in it has IoT and artificial intelligence in it. So what happens is it predicts part failure. And so with that subscription, it makes it to where, seeing how it is a service, you don't ever have to worry about your hot water heater ever breaking. You don't have to worry about it ever leaking, because if a problem is about to go wrong, we predict if it's about to go wrong and we get it replaced. So with that, we actually pay for the plumber to come in and do the swap of the unit. And you never have to worry with it again. As well as we provide software updates to increase energy efficiency over time on user habits and so forth, and making that better.
So using the Internet of Things, the IoT that you mentioned, and the AI, it's self-diagnosing its problem. So it's alerting you if it's having a problem before the homeowner even has to encounter it. Does it also provide water usage and other data so that the homeowner can think more about how they're using water?
Yeah, that's actually one of our big things was educating the homeowner, and not saying, we're not coming in and saying letting the whole unit just take over and do its thing, right? We're coming in and saying, hey, if you actually switch your schedule a little bit and take your showers in the morning versus the afternoon, that we predict that you'll save this much energy over time, and in return, you're going to be saving this X amount of dollars.
So let's talk about some of the practical things. Do you need a local plumber to come in to do this, or does Torii provide a plumber who's trained and ready to do so?
Yeah, so we partner up with local plumbers that are trained and certified, and to come in and install the units, as well as replace the unit if one is about to go out.
So, and what happens if a water heater develops a problem or fails at some point without some alert to you ahead of time?
Yeah, so
pick up the phone and call?
Yeah, pick up the phone and call. We also have developing out an app currently too, so that you'll be able to hop on the app and just notify us. It's pretty unlikely that something like that will happen, but if it does, we'll have backups for that.
Okay. Now, and then I think this is the key thing that everybody considers when they hear subscription, and that is, I don't own this thing. So if somebody cancels the service, what happens? Does the Torii heater get removed, and is there a way to transition to another heater? And is there a fee for disconnecting?
Yeah, so the fee for disconnecting would be dependent upon time, right? Okay. For one, we have to make sure that we're recouping some of the costs for plumbers and so forth as well, to come in and pull a unit out. So if you've had a unit for, let's say, 10 years and someone wants to switch to a different brand, which I'm not too sure why they would want to, but at that point, there wouldn't be a fee for that. And the subscription, it really allows, they don't own it, but at the same time, because of that, that's what makes it the worry and stress-free. It's instead of like owning a water heater, if something goes bad, it's all on you. the
Right.
homeowner, right? It's if the bottom of it breaks out and it's leaking all over your house, it's on the homeowner, and then you're dealing with insurances, so forth. Whereas the service part of it really makes it to where you can rely on us to take care of everything.
So in exchange for not owning it and the fact that Torii does own it, Torii is taking responsibility for the thing working, being efficient, and you mentioned insurance. So let me ask this question. If the Torii heater were to break and flood the house, is Torii's insurance going to cover that, or is the homeowner's insurance going to cover it?
Yeah, if it came, if it's coming directly from the unit, then Torii covers it.
Okay, cool. So you're really taking ownership and responsibility for the product and everything that it does for the customer. That's the key to, I think, building a successful subscription model, rather than this kind of set and forget, or the landlord approach, which is, well, you paid me and I'll be back next month for the rent, but don't ask me to do anything. You're going to actually do things.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because it's I talk with lots of people, right, and homeowners, and even people that rent out apartments or homes, and yeah, they might have a going out hot water heater, or a water heater that doesn't provide much hot water,
Right.
and they're at the mercy of their landlord, and it's whether the landlord actually comes in, replaces something, updates something, makes it better. It's hard, right? And so
I personally have had my landlord, back when I was in my 20s, living in Salt Lake City, not pay their bills, and the heat and the water were all off on Christmas morning. It's not a great place to be. So you're saying you're just not going to do that to people.
yeah, exactly. It's we care about the people. It's we're
Mhm.
not out with being a service. It comes down at the end of the day, we're not selling just a product. I mean, the product makes us do what we're able to do, but
Mhm.
it's the care for the people. It's the providing this service to them, because if they want, hey, they can get rid of us, and we don't want that. We
So
want to be there for them.
what's the average cost of the monthly subscription? Does it vary by region, or by the amount of water that you heat, or anything like that?
We're still in a little bit of the works with that. Just because we're still prototyping out our model a little bit as well, and kind of finding that right pricing structure.
Uh-huh.
So right now it'll be anywhere between I would say $300 to $100 a year.
$300 to $100 a year. Wow, that is less expensive than I would have thought. So where is it available today? Because of course you're going to need that local plumbing support.
Yeah. So, right now we're just taking in customers and plumbers, and kind of building a database.
Mhm.
For at the moment, kind of as I mentioned, we're still in the prototyping stage, and getting things built out. And then as well, we'll have to end up getting UL certifications, Energy Star certifications. And then we're looking at going into production around end of Q3 of 2022.
Okay.
And so then people can actually be able to start getting units on their hands.
Okay, so it'll be available next year. That's good to know. Now, if a plumber is interested in becoming a distributor or an installer, how do they do that?
Yeah, so they can reach out on our website at toriway.com, and we have a form on there, and they can go on there and fill out the form and sign up, and get in contact with us.
Do they get training then? Do they get a collateral to help support the customer sales experience?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So our model really benefits out plumbers as well. And so what we're actually doing is they're taking a kickback of that subscription, and they're getting it. And so what ends up happening is it allows through the app as well, it allows the plumber to actually build a relationship with the customer. So if there's any other plumbing problems that have went wrong in the home, a customer can simply hop on the app, and they have the plumber in direct contact with them. And so then the plumber gets some kickback from the subscription. And so if the unit is about to break, they just can simply come in, swap out the unit, and replace it for the customer.
Okay. Now, I also noticed you're raising funding. What are you going to be using that capital to do?
Yeah, so the good majority of the funding is going towards getting ready to go into production. So building our unit for production. There's a difference between building something that can just be 3D printed versus mass producing it, and then making sure that we're getting our UL certifications, Energy Star certifications, and then getting us into the market.
That process can take some time, so it's good that you're planning ahead. Now, what's your vision for Torii Industries? Where do you imagine yourself being, say, in 2030? National? Are you looking to globalize your business?
I would, by that time, definitely more global. And not just in the water heaters as well, but we're kind of taking an approach at looking at all the home appliances and being able to add in a similar model, and even down the road being able to have one full package for all your large home appliances.
So you're imagining a hot water, washing machine, dishwasher offering that essentially is an integrated offering. Would that all be made by Torii, or would you partner with other brands in order to bring those other components in?
A lot depend kind of timing as well as cost, whether we partner with others or not on them.
Okay.
I always like partnerships. I think they can benefit a lot. So it's definitely not out of the options.
That's going to be very interesting. Now, are you looking for distributors, people who can help get you out into regional markets? And let me add, you are speaking to me from Fairfield, Montana, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. No offense.
Yeah, it is, and so we're kind of taking an approach as with our units. They're tankless hot water heaters,
right.
And so the size of it, we're able to compact the size down really small, which allows us to, at the end of the day, to bring our product to the consumer at the lower, cheaper price, on kind of being able to skip past the larger distributors as well as the Home Depots and go direct to plumbers.
So that also, because you're shipping this very compact device rather than the 300-pound water heater that the traditional tank involves, you don't have a lot of environmental impact from shipping. Obviously, there's some from manufacturing. That's also potentially another element of the sustainability story. As you think about growing the company, and you mentioned when you begin to do manufacturing at scale, where would you think about locating that? Would it be in the U.S. or would it be somewhere else?
Yeah, definitely keeping it in the U.S. That helps decrease, like you said, decrease our footprint on just transportation, and as well. So with our model, when we replace a unit in a home, that old unit, we actually bring that back and repair it and refurbish it, replace the parts that were about to go bad, recycle those old parts, and then take that unit and put back out on the market. So our goal is sending 0 units to the landfill. So with that, the manufacturing facilities have to be, pretty close to locations.
And so are you taking wait list reservations for the water heater? How does somebody who's listening right now get started on the path to hot water as a service?
We're not currently taking reservations, but we do have a sign up on our website as well that consumers can go on there and be able to sign up and be, I guess, on an email subscription or email list for that, and stay updated, see where we're at in our progress.
Well, Gordon, I want to thank you. This is a fascinating idea, and I wish you the greatest luck with Torii Industries.
Hey, I appreciate it, Mitch. And thank you for having me. It's great talking with you.
Well, we've been talking with Gordon Olson. He's the co-founder and CEO of Torii Industries, and you can find out more at toriiway.com. That's TORIIWAY.com. Folks, I hope you learned something today. I certainly did. This is a fascinating opportunity to make my house greener, and I look forward to making an investment in that once. Well, I guess it's not an investment; it's a subscription to that kind of capability once the Torii heater is available. I hope you'll take time to share this with your friends. Our podcasts are designed to get these ideas out there so that all of us can think together about how to make our society a lot more sustainable. So share away. More ideas means less waste. Folks, we'll be back soon with another innovator interview. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of one another, and let us all take care of this beautiful planet of ours. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe. We'll be back soon.